Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp and Chance. I'm your host, Bobby Sampson. Joined with me, as always, is the man with the plan, the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are ya on this 33? Well, I'm in Vancouver. It's 33 degrees in the shade. Well, how about you?
Oh, it's 35 out here. It's hot, man.
Yeah, Valley's always a little bit hotter, right?
Yeah, but it's going to drop down to 26, 27 tomorrow, so not too bad.
It is what it is, man. It's all good. I mean, that's
Better than
the
the cold.
beauty. Well, I mean, you know what? We live in a world where everyone's going to complain it's too hot now. And
Yeah,
then as soon as it starts getting cold, I wish it was hot.
that's very true. Yeah, we're never satisfied. It's always
Uh,
something.
yeah, it's always something, eh? But hey, here's something. Teofimo made his comeback. The comeback times two, as I like to call it now. Or the takeover times two. I don't know. Which one do you want to call it?
You can go with either one. They just destroyed him. It wasn't even a fight.
It wasn't. I mean, let's look at the stats here. So total punches thrown, 321 for Teofimo, 136 of those landed. Uh, what's his face? Who did he fight again, man? I'm so bad
Pedro
at
Campa.
Campa, thank you. Campa threw 443 or it's 448 punches. Only 83 of them landed.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
low.
Yeah. No, totally. Jabs, he Teofimo worked a lot behind his jab. Power punches, were about 86. He threw about 184 power, 164 power punches. Um, I don't know. I mean, he did look sharp, I'll be honest.
Hmm.
But I don't think the competition was there for him to have to be sharp.
Well, that's the thing. He's fighting a journeyman at best. It was
Yeah,
a tune-up
no,
fight to catapult into the 140 division, which it worked. It did what it was supposed to.
yeah, no. This is the first time probably he came into the fight the smaller man too. I mean, at 135, he was always the bigger guy, right? So I
That's
mean,
true.
it's kind of a new thing for him as well to kind of come into junior welterweight 140 as the smaller guy. Maybe there was a bit of ring rust on him. Yeah, he dominated him, and like you said, the seventh round, and it was kind of right there. Then I don't know about that stoppage, Joe. I'll be honest. I
I
thought
thought it was a
maybe.
little bit early. I thought he could have kept going.
Yeah, I mean the look on Campa's face as well is like, what are you doing? Like,
I
it just
know.
kind of. I think he stopped it way too soon.
Yeah, I didn't like that
That's just my
stoppage.
opinion. But then again, we're not in the ring. We don't know what the referee's seeing, right? I
True.
mean, at the end of the day, you want it, your main goal is to protect the fighter.
That's true. But it looked a
It
little early though.
it did look early. I mean, there's no doubting it, and I almost feel the referee realized after the fact that he might have made a mistake as well.
Yeah, I mean, Compo was going to lose the fight, no doubts about it. But I mean, he's a little preemptive on the ref's part.
Yeah, a little preemptive. Where does Tio go from here?
I don't know. Now he's saying he wants to rematch Cambosis.
I don't know. He's gonna have to go back to 135. I don't think
I
he'll
don't
do
know.
that.
That's what he said. He said he wants the belts in 142. I don't know. He wants to kind of do it all, I guess. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, from his press conferences and the in ring, he was calling out Josh Taylor. He was
I've seen
calling
that.
out, everyone but Kambosos, right? I mean,
Yeah, he
I
said
think
after the press conference that he would like a rematch with him.
I don't see the logic in that. I don't see the point in it. I think Kambosos is kind of who Kambosos is. I mean, he got lucky that one night. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Theo is a much better fighter than he came out that night. Unbeknownst to him, he was dealing with that health issue at the time that he fought as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of these things kind of, play a role in it. Kambosos was on a mission too. I mean, the amount of shit talk between Tio and his dad, obviously you're going to come out, with that extra
Yeah, they
little
underestimated
bit.
George. They thought George was like confident that he just fought. It would just be an easy day at the office.
No, but I mean, you can't take anything away from a guy who outboxes Lomachenko,
It's a very good
right?
point.
Now, I mean, at the same time, was Lomo having a bad day that day?
Could be, or he could just be his kryptonite.
I think 135 is just kind of a weird division because I mean, until someone actually defends the titles now, I mean, it's like Haney right now. Haney's champion. He's going to go up against him in October again. That's going to be held in Melbourne at the Rob Laver Stadium, the tennis place where they play the Australian Open in
Mm-hmm.
October. So that's going to be a rematch, unnecessary rematch in my opinion. I don't think Kambosos did anything in that fight to kind of justify a rematch.
No, just because it's in the clause. That's the only reason he's getting it. Other
That's
than that, he
I
didn't earn it.
Yeah, I hate that clause. I really do. I think if you lose, you lose. That's not necessarily you go back to the line. but you need to have at least 1 or 2 fights under your belt to get back to that title shot. I mean,
It's just a champion protecting himself in case he loses. But I hear what you're saying. I don't like it either.
yeah, I've never boxed professionally or amateurly. I have trained in boxing, so I know a little bit about technique and the skill set of it. But the reality of it is, man, if you're a champion, you should have that mentality. This is my thought. You should have that mentality that I don't need a rematch clause because I'm going to win.
Yeah,
You
some guys
you
do that, but it's
you
rare.
know, right? It's like you put self-doubt in your mind before you even start. Like that for me, it just doesn't work. If you're a champion, you're the champion, man. You go in there, you're the top of the mountain, you're the king of the food chain. You basically defend those titles. You have faith in yourself. You got there.
It's the promoters too. They say you got to protect yourself. This is a money business, prize fighting, so it's all that too. The managers and everybody
But they're
encouraging
all
that.
they all want that extra payday too,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And a lot of the times when a guy loses the title, he basically loses everything there. Like I mean, all the fame, the glory, all of it. The quality of your fights diminish
Yeah.
radically. As a champion, you're making X amount of dollars, then all of a sudden you're kind of brought down. But here's an interesting point. If you're a unified champion, if you own all 4 titles, I mean, are you still making more or are you making less because everyone's cut is bigger now? Every promotion, the WBA is going to take a cut, IBAF is going to take a cut, IBO is going to take a cut, WBO is going to take a cut. Then your
Depends who you're
agent.
fighting, I guess, and how. If you're more the higher A side than the guy you're fighting, you get more. Like Mayweather would be like, I get 70%, you get 30%. If you don't like it, I won't fight you.
No,
Sometimes
no,
that 30% is better than that 80% you'd get fighting an average guy.
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the guy who wins all the titles. For example,
Mm-hmm.
right now you got, Usyk has got 3 of the titles, correct?
Yeah.
And the ring title is on the line now. So I mean, that's the one title that they've taken away from um Type Fury,
Yeah.
right? So that belt will also be on the line here tonight or on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. My question to you was just like, is it worth being a unified or undisputed champion, considering that every organizational body is going to take a cut of your winnings?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess it all depends how much they can negotiate for you.
I don't know
Get a
if it's a
higher
negotiate, right?
rate.
I don't know. I think they're pretty set. I'm pretty sure of that. I could be wrong.
Well,
If
it depends how
anyone's,
much they think you can sell tickets and pay per views. You get more, right? It all depends
yeah,
how much you think you can draw, what they're going
yeah.
to agree to pay you.
Well, I'm thinking these guys must have a lot of, side things that they're getting paid for as well.
For like example, a guy like Mayweather, he can get 100 million a fight because he's going to sell out the arena. He's going to sell a lot of pay per views. So they can. Mayweather gets paid that whether the pay per views meet that number or the game meets the number. Either way, he's paid that. Certain
Yeah,
guys like Pacquiao and Canelo, they get that no matter what.
yeah, yeah,
So it
yeah.
all depends who's in there.
But I'm thinking the organizations are fixed rates, like it's
Yeah, they
5%.
take a certain. Yeah, they take a certain cut.
That sucks. I don't
Yeah,
see why
but
they
they're
need to take
making
a cut.
60, 70 million a fight, so I don't doesn't really hurt them much.
But the younger guys, the guys who are up and coming, who win a championship for the first time, they're excited. I'm a world champion, and all of a sudden they look at their paycheck and they're like, "I made just as much as I did when I first started." You
No, I
know,
hear what you're saying.
I think that's just a disparity in combat sports in general, my friend. That's another show entirely.
Yeah, they always
Um,
all the athletes always say they deserve more, they deserve more, they deserve more. Eventually, there's got to be a cap.
well, I mean, boxers tend to make more in general, but even at the lowest end, it feels like sometimes the boxers aren't making their worth.
Some of these guys in undercards make like $6,000, $7,000 a fight,
It's unfortunate.
but that's their way. They got to earn that spot and work their way up
Oh,
to
I
get to the
get it.
Mayweather level, right?
I get it. They're paying your due. There's only maybe a handful of boxers in the world who get that kind of,
Yeah, that big
payday,
money.
right? There's not all of them. So I'm thinking
No,
like a lot of these guys are getting paid on the side, like, in terms of endorsements and everything else.
yeah,
They
commercials.
rely
Yeah,
heavily on those, eh?
some of them do.
Um, no, no, 100%. And speaking of big endorsements and big fights, we have Joshua versus Usyk Part 2 coming up this Saturday. What are they calling it? The Rage on the Red Sea. Um, I don't know, man. This is a weird one. As we're getting closer and closer now, I'm kind of second guessing who I think is going to win and what have you here. It's just kind of like It's a tough
I heard
one.
some
This is
stuff.
a
I've read some stuff about some of the guys in Joshua's camp, and they're saying after he fought Klitschko and Klitschko knocked him down, he knocked down Klitschko, ended up winning the fight. He said he doesn't want to fight like that anymore. He doesn't want to get hurt. He didn't like that fight. He was never the same since that. He lost to Ruiz. Now he's lost to Usyk. So I don't know if he has that extra gear. Like if you watch him fight Usyk, he didn't seem like he wasn't aggressive at all.
well
So I don't think he's got that extra gear to beat Usyk. I think Usyk's going to beat him again in the decision.
Well,
I was leaning the other way towards Josh when I was hearing all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I heard the same things you've heard, right? I mean, here's how I'm looking at this fight really simply. Usyk is a technician. He's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest.
No.
But he is a pure technician. The man knows how to box. Two-time gold medalist at the Olympics. Undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. He's basically one title away from becoming undisputed, the first person in this belt era to have all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the guy's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think the pressures are different for both guys. Here you got Joshua. If this is his make or break fight. And I think the same could be said for Deontay Wilder. His make or break fight was that second fight against Fury. Right? He'll never have that same notoriety again until he works at it and builds it up again, and maybe he can get back to that level.
He's fighting in October here.
Yeah, he is fighting in October. Nice little tune-up fight. We'll touch on that as we get closer to it. But Joshua here, in my opinion, I think that you're right. Like before he fought Klitschko, every fight he had, he came out like a fucking lion, man. The power.
Oh yeah.
And he was just devastating, and that's what everyone got to know about Anthony Joshua. He finally faced someone in a Klitschko. Granted, he was older, and I think Klitschko would have probably kicked his ass if he was younger.
He would have. He was
right?
Younger, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If he was younger, he would have destroyed him. But I mean, a lot of credit to Joshua for not having too much of an amateur background, starting boxing late. Everything that he's accomplished, you can't take that away from the guy.
He's a good guy too.
But you're right. After he got knocked down, he came back and he did knock him out, but he never fought the same again. He never fought behind his power. And I think a lot of that had to do with his training camp as well. With his trainer, Rob McCracken, as well. Like, I mean, these guys have been together for way too long. So many years. So to the point where they became friends.
Very he's got Robert Garcia for this fight.
He's got Robert Garcia and Angel Fernandez were working together on this. Fernandez was with him in his last fight against Ruiz, and he stayed with him there. Now, I'll call the Ruiz fight a bad day at the office. Right?
Fair enough.
That was a bad day at the office as far as I'm concerned. The Usyk fight, in my opinion, I still think, and I still maintain, watching it again and again, I've watched it a few times over now, I think that he basically was winning round 4 to 9.
Joshua,
yeah.
Yeah. It was a close fight.
It was close. I mean, but the problem was his corner was not communicating with him. McCracken couldn't tell him what he needed to hear.
Yeah, they weren't making the adjustments properly.
They didn't make any adjustments, and the way he came out, he tried to be technical with a guy that's way too technical for you. You can't fight that way. You got 3 inches on him. He's 6'3", Joshua's 6'6".
Yeah, right? Use your size, use your weight.
Use your size and your weight, and that's what's going to help him here. So the question remains now, if Joshua can pull this off, it's not going to be a decision victory. He has to knock him out, or it has to be a TKO, in my opinion. Yeah. Now, I don't think Usyk has the power to knock out Joshua, but there is talk and rumor and pictures are out there saying that Usyk has gained 15, close to 30 pounds.
Yeah, I see him in the press conference. He looks more bulky, man. He
looks a little bulky. Though. Yeah, but he's representing the Ukraine, and that's another part. Nice segue there, right? Here we got a guy. 2 different levels of pressure. You got a guy whose whole career is on the line. On the other hand, you got a guy who's going to go into the Hall of Fame regardless.
Yeah.
For everything he's accomplished, right? So there's really nothing there for him to lose. Now, we got a guy who had to go to war, though. And he sat on the front line. And I know he's had to have fired off his weapon.
So, most likely he did, yeah.
Right? And I'm pretty sure, it's a bit of a morbid thought, but I'm sure his weapon has found his target a couple times.
Very possible. It's very possible. I'm not sure what he actually was doing, but
right. So I'm just guessing. It's all speculation here. So when you win the world titles, now you're fighting a war. You're firing off guns against your opposition in a different way. You probably got some bodies attached to you now. Does that mentality change you?
Yeah, he definitely has a different mentality going into the fight. I'm not sure if it's going to help him or hurt him.
Right?
I'm
Like,
not sure how
are
he's
you
wired.
more vicious? But see, he's fighting for his country, which I think is a lot more pressure than per se in general. Like, considering what's going on over there and whatnot, I mean, it just seems like a lot more pressure on Usyk. He looks calm, he looks cool, he looks collective in the press conference yesterday. He looked great
But
in
he
the
looks
opening
strange though. He's got a
workouts.
strange look to me now. I mean, the hair and the mustache. I don't know, man. He's just. I seen that and I was like, I know he's trying to look different. I get it, but there's something strange about that to me.
He's always had the mustache, the
No, I
handlebar
know.
Hulk Hogan, but the hair is different. He was bald
Yeah,
before, and now he's growing this kind of one
string hair. I don't know what you call that.
string of hair. I don't know. I call it the. It's kind of like a Hare Krishna look. You know how they shave their head but have that little ponytail in the back?
Yeah,
But he's kind of got it at the top of his head, and it's just kind of sitting there. I don't know. Maybe it's just to distract him. Maybe something for
definitely
Joshua to
working
look
because it's
at.
distract. Everybody looks at that like, holy shit. What do you say to that?
Well, you can't really say much to the guy, man. I
That's
mean,
the thing.
for everything, right? But I mean, again, style is style. I mean, who's to say that's not what the number one style in the Ukraine is right
Could be.
now? Who knows,
So
right?
what's
I
your
mean,
gut feeling here? What's your predictions here? What's going to happen?
again, I'm kind of torn on this because I don't know. I mean, okay, right from the get go, Joshua's got to come out firing.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to come out aggressively firing, but he needs to stand behind his jab and he needs to stand behind his power,
He needs a
right?
tough fight completely different than last time where he will get worked again.
He will. And I feel Usyk putting on the weight is to be able to take more of that because I think he even anticipates a bit more of an aggressive Joshua.
I
A
think so.
Joshua Volt has to come out of this one, right? I mean, this is way different when he fought Ruiz the second time. I mean, that was an easy fight considering the
Yeah.
guy he was fighting came in super fat and didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Right? So from that perspective, he's not gonna have the same opportunities given to him that he did the first fight. Joshua needs to knock him out or really beat on him if he's gonna win it by decision. Um, he's got to stop being afraid, and let's see what Garcia and Angel have done with him now. That I think that's it. Prediction wise, I don't know, man. I am really having a hard time. I can tell you that if Usyk wins, it's going to be by decision. If Joshua wins, it's going to be by TKO or KO in the eighth or ninth round.
Which one are you going with? The
I
final
can't.
prediction.
I can't. That's the problem. You know what? Fine. I'll do it. Joshua KO, TKO or KO, eighth or ninth round.
Okay, I'm going to take Usyk by decision.
Okay. Fair enough, man. I mean, but
Split decision.
just so you know, I also feel the same way, but you put me on the spot here and maybe make a call on this decision here.
It'll be a fun fight.
It's gonna be a real fun fight. I think it's gonna be really cool. Adrian Broner, Bonner, he pulled out.
Is he ever going to fight again?
I don't know, man. He probably shouldn't.
It's been a long time since he's fought. How long since he's fought? A couple of years already.
It's already been a couple of years. He's all lined up. Everyone's excited. A nice little nightcap to the Joshua fight. Something to follow up with in the evening. But now that's kind of gone by the wayside.
Maybe he'll take a few months off and come back. I don't know, but I mean, his career's definitely in the twilight zone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He's a strange cat.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Definitely. What else you got, man? Anything you want to talk about here?
We're less than 1 month away from Triple G and Canelo. I'm getting excited for that. I've been watching Triple G's workout videos. He's working out hard. He's putting on a little bit of muscle. So I'm excited for that.
That's coming along, eh? I mean, Canelo's been kind of quiet.
Yeah, Canelo's not saying much. He said he's like, what did he say the other day? He's like a wild animal, a wounded animal. Coming
Because
off a
he lost?
loss. People say that Triple G beat me already, so I'm going to finish him.
What do you think? Do you think he will?
No. They've already fought 24 rounds. Nobody's went down yet. I don't see any different this time. I hope, Triple G, I think he's going to win by decision, but I mean, you just never know out there.
I'm gonna maintain this, and I said this when we talked about it from the very beginning. My only concern for Triple G will be those body shots.
Yeah, I hear you, but he went 24 rounds already and he didn't get him put down with it. They already knew that before. I don't think it'll be much different this time. They know each other so well. It's like a chess match here. They spend a lot of time in the ring together, over an hour together.
Mm-hmm,
So, I mean, it's boxing. Anything could happen. I mean, Canelo could give him a body shot and he could drop. You just never know.
I wonder what would happen if Canelo lost again, though, eh? Would that
They're
like
gonna have to have a
finally?
fourth fight. If
But
Triple
would
G wins, they're gonna have a fourth fight.
you think so?
Maybe not right away, but eventually.
But at what point though? I mean, Canelo seems to kind of make the call on everything, right? I mean, it'd have to be sooner than not. It couldn't be another 2, 3 years.
No, Triple G's too old and he's 40. Yeah,
But
it'd have
that's
to
what
be
I'm
within a
saying.
year.
That's what I'm saying. It'd have to happen within. It'd have to be the next fight.
Yeah. So
But
I'm
the
excited for
luster,
that. 29 days away. It's getting close.
yes, and
The
we
biggest fight of the
also,
year.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good fights. I mean, we're. I'm under the impression now that we're looking at November 12th or 19th for Spence and Crawford.
They better announce it soon, man. It's only a few months away. They got to start hyping this
No, they
up.
can they can hype it up. I mean, I think just all this talk itself is hype. They can announce a fight a month before and they'll still sell out, man. I don't think
Well, the arena will
hype.
sell out, but I don't know about the pay-per-views.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
think it will, man. I don't think hype's a problem for this one. This is kind of like, I would call it the equivalent. I would call it the equivalent of kind of like a Hearn versus Leonard or, any of the four Kings fighting.
maybe skill-wise, but these guys aren't. They're not big on the radar of people though. That's the thing. Like skill-wise, yes, they're not really well-known names. But the boxing fans with them, but the average Joe, I don't even know who they are. They
I
never
think that
fight.
I think a lot of the casual fans are picking up on this. I
I
really
hope
do.
so.
I really do. I think this is one of those kind of fights that have been talked about long enough that even casual fans would know about it. I mean,
I
at the
hope
end of the
so.
day, like I get it. We talk a lot about the casual fan, man, but I really feel that our sport, the sports that we cover, the sports that we talk about, you know,
I'll
I
give you an
get
example when I mean casual fan. The last fight that I watched were the casual fans. Everybody would message me like, "Hey, you watching this fight?" It was Paki and Mayweather. Like Riptide came by, Jesus was there, for example, and like he never watches boxing, but he knows I gotta see this fight. And Francis and all these guys wanted to watch this fight because it was so big, and these guys are larger than life characters. That won't happen with Spence and Crawford because they're just not on that level of stardom. Maybe
no,
after
I
this
get
fight,
it. I get it.
that's
I
what
get
I
it.
mean.
I get it. But I mean, those are mainstream fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those guys have gone mainstream. Not every athlete is mainstream. So I mean, at the end of the day, you can even look at hockey or football or whatever, right? I mean, yeah, the casual fan comes out for the Super Bowl. They
Yeah.
don't come out for anything else. They don't give a
Yep.
shit otherwise all year round,
That was a Super Bowl fight. Yeah.
right? I mean, even the women come out because of the halftime show. That's the only reason they come out. I mean, at the end of the
True.
day, at a Super Bowl party, there's only probably three guys who actually know what they're watching,
It's a good point. Yeah.
right? The rest of them are all kind of like, oh, wow, nice home run, or
Yeah.
or
No, I
something
hear
like
you.
that,
I
right?
hope the fight sells well. I want it to
Yeah,
be
no,
good.
it's gonna sell well. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I like to think that what we do is not for the casual fan, it's for the fan,
No,
right?
we're doing it for the fan. I'm just saying it's just
Right.
nice when the casual fan gets excited
No,
too.
I get it, but those events only happen ever so often, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I think the next one that's going to happen like this, I don't know if triple. See, this is the thing, Canelo Triple G outside of the Mexican and the Latin community, that's it. I don't think there's any really casual fans that are interested in Canelo Triple G.
No, not too much. I mean, if
No,
5 years ago the first one it was, but yeah, it's kind of lost a little bit of its luster.
right? That's probably not it. I mean, like, what would be the next big casual fan match?
If you see Fury Joshua, maybe two
But
heavyweights.
that's not. I wouldn't even call that a casual fan match. I mean, because the
Well,
British, this would be a bigger fight in the UK than it would be in North America.
yeah. Well, Fury's such a larger than life character. He's pretty well known. He's
Oh,
pretty
I get it.
mainstream.
I get he's gone mainstream, but he's not mainstream. He's still not mainstream in North America, in my opinion. He has a following, but he's not that name.
But
The
who do you think
reason,
is then Canelo?
where North America
Yeah,
right now, I don't think there's anybody. Maybe I don't think there's anyone that has that mainstream pull that Floyd did or a Deontay Wilder did. To be fair, that's
Canelo's
just
pretty close.
Canelo's. Yeah, but he's got the Latin community behind him,
Yeah,
right? That's where he shines, right? He has that, the transplanted Latinos and Mexicans or whoever, the whole Latin community
yeah,
is, he has that, and that's where you're gonna get those kind of majority of his fan base.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. He's not like a Floyd or a Pacquiao. They have all communities wanting like them and watching them.
Yeah, like I
I know
think
what you mean.
Floyd is mainstream,
Yeah, love him or hate him, you watch
right?
it. He's like Brock
Tyson,
Lesnar. You watch
Ty,
him
Ty,
fight.
Tyson is mainstream,
Mm-hmm.
right? If Tyson decides tomorrow, hey, I'm gonna come back, yeah, everybody's gonna fucking tune in.
Brock Lesnar's like that. If he fought in UFC, everybody watch it
Brock
too.
Lesnar would come back, he'd be like that again, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing. There's only a handful of people in the world not just North America, that can pull those kind of numbers.
Yeah, there's
Now,
very few.
that being said, I think the next mainstream casual fan fight that's gonna make tons of money is the Mayweather and McGregor fight, part two.
Yeah, that'll be huge. If it happens,
But
yeah.
I'm hearing it's going to happen. That's the talk right now. At first, initially, it was supposed to be him and Pacquiao.
Which Mayweather or
No,
McGregor?
Pacquiao and McGregor,
Yeah, that'd have been good. We've already
right?
seen Mayweather McGregor. We already know what happens. Mayweather wins.
Mayweather wins, but I guess there's a lot of money to be made again. And if he's coming back
And they
and
had a great press conference. They're going on smack talking each other so good and
well,
all those
that's the
cheers.
thing. That's the thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at like, okay, for example, if Joshua wins, then I'm sure as much as people respect what Usyk has done and everything, I'm sure majority of the people who control the funds, the money, the networks, you name it, be it BT Sports, Sky Box Office, The Zone, because those are the guys that are going to be in that role and
Oh
to
yeah.
fight for it. Showtime's out of it. Maybe sorry, ESPN would be involved, right? But that Joshua Fury fight would probably become the biggest fight in British history.
It'll be one of the biggest fights in North America too for
And that
heavyweights.
and that would be the mainstream fight. The closest thing we'd get to a mainstream fight here in North America, even. In
Well,
Britain,
Wilder and Fury are pretty mainstream. They fought here in America every time. It was pretty big.
they did, but I mean that was done by design to get his name out here,
It worked.
right? It worked only for the fact though, because a lot of his fans travel so well. See, that's the thing about the Europeans, man. The Irish, the British, they travel. They will go, right? And
I'm
if you
pretty
think
sure that
about
the Fury Wilder 3 was, I think it was like the sixth or seventh highest boxing heavyweight fight of all time, like pay-per-view buys. So it did
yeah,
well.
yeah, no, it did really, really well. I mean, it's kind of hard over in Europe just because of the time difference and whatnot. I mean, this thing's coming on at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But
Yeah,
I
it's tough.
mean, it is kind of tough for them. We're lucky in the sense that when we're watching a fight from the UK or Germany, for example, it's pretty much lunchtime for us. We're lucky. We can get away with it, right? At 8 o'clock. Even if you don't want to watch the undercard or whatnot, you could go do all your stuff during the day, come home by 2:30 and watch the fight.
That's the one thing where UFC absolutely crushes boxing. Most boxing main events are great, but the undercards aren't very good. UFC, the whole card's good. That's the problem.
Well, right now they are able to do that. You know, UFC's always done it that way. So I mean, if you set the model that way from the very get-go, it's really hard to break that flow. Right. So I mean, from that perspective, that's where UFC is winning because in their infancy they set the foundation for
Yeah, smart.
making the smart card, right? Boxing is just too diluted, man. Unfortunately, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
because the
talked
main
about
event's the
this
only fight you
before.
care about. Once in a while, you get a co-main event, but not often.
Well, I mean, the Xander, the co-main event from the Teofimo fight, that was a good fight.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that one. A good classic Puerto Rico versus Mexico fight, right?
but they got to put on guys on the card where people know who they are, right? And you might turn on and see a great fight, but half time you don't know who the hell these guys are. That's the problem with boxing.
But
You get
that's
the
the
one
problem.
good fight, and you hope the other ones are good. But if not, oh well, here's the main event.
But brother, man, seems to be our running argument that you and I have. Not an argument, but debate
No,
that
I
we
know, but this is
constantly
why
seem to
UFC is
have.
more popular than boxing because of this, though.
Right. But if you look at a UFC card in general, okay, like look at a fight night outside of the main event, how many, unless you're a fan, how many of the guys did you know?
Yeah, but you're gonna know at least two or three of the fights in boxing. You know one, and the rest of the guys in and everyone who this guy is for most people. That's the thing,
Well,
and that's why if you go to most bars in Vancouver, you'll see every UFC pay-per-view. Most boxing ones they don't have, unless it's like a Fury or a Canelo, you won't be able to get the boxing pay-per-views on there. And that's why, because nobody's touching the undercards anymore. To put on a boxing pay-per-view at a bar is thousands of dollars. They're not going to buy it if you're not sitting there all day drinking and eating. That's the problem with boxing.
I think the problem with boxing is that I also think it has to do a lot with promoters and it has to do a lot with people being afraid to make the fights that need to be made
Yeah, it's a
because they're
combination of lots
afraid.
of stuff.
I think it's because the promoter feels that, like, okay, for example, um you got Wilder coming back, right?
Yeah,
But he's fighting a guy I've never heard of. Have you?
not many have.
There you go, right? Like I've heard of him, I've seen him, but I mean, as a fan, even if you're not in bed with boxing and wrestling as much as we are per se, where we know who most of these guys are, regardless of where
Hmm.
their stature is or where they stand on the roster or where they stand in the standings. Um, it's just kind of like even some names will catch us off guard, like who,
It is
right?
a tune-up fight for him to
It's a
get him
tune-up
back up
fight, but
there.
see, that's what boxing does, right? I mean, it's just it's that's the problem. I mean, there's so many fights. I mean, the Spence Crawford fight should not be this hard to make.
No,
But the fear is if this guy loses, he's going to lose all his steam. If that guy loses, he's going to lose all his steam, right? Not
people
thinking
forget.
that
I mean, Crawford's like 34 years old, so he's on the back end of his prime. It's got to go down now. It's gonna be too late.
well, he's got another 3, 4 years in him if he wants.
Yeah, but at his peak, he's already 34. Like you want to see it younger than older, right?
No, I get it. I get it. I know what you're saying, but I mean, at the end of the day, like right now, okay, so the way the heavyweights shape up here, if Joshua wins and him and Tyson do decide to go finally, that's going to be a massive fight. If
Yeah.
Usyk wins, I still think it's going to be a big fight, but I don't think it's going to be as big as you would think it was going to be against Fury. So in the
Well, if you're
meantime,
talking about fighting Fury's just so entertaining, right? Like you
Fury's
get
entertaining, but I mean, you got a guy
brings the
like
eyeballs.
Usyk who doesn't really have that much personality per se, in
No,
my
it's
opinion,
boring.
right? He's a boring guy. So I mean, you're gonna have one guy who sells the fight.
If Joshua loses, you'll see Joshua Wilder.
That has to be the next fight,
That'll be good.
right? Winner of that will become number one contender,
Yeah.
right?
Who knows? After Joshua gets rid of Wilder, he might not want to fight again. Wilder hits hard, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's already been knocked down by Ruiz and whatnot. So I mean, at the end of the day, he's gonna have to face him eventually, right? Sooner or
Yeah,
later. Or you know what? And I'm not even surprised by it. They may never face each other.
that's possible too. You never know. You never know the world of
Right?
boxing.
When all these fights were supposed to happen, they never happened. I mean, the only reason Fury got in there is because the fact that Joshua wouldn't accept the fight.
Yeah,
So this unification fight's been around for the last fucking 5 years, man.
I know they waste so much time.
They've wasted so much time. And I mean, Fury was the only one who stood up. And you know what? I will agree with Deontay Wilder on one thing that he did say during that time. Without him, Tyson Fury wouldn't be who he is today. When
Absolutely.
right? I mean, when he asked Fury for the fight, do you want to fight? Fury was over 400 pounds almost, if not close to, you know, alcoholic, cocaine sniffing,
Yeah,
all of the things that would kill a man eventually. He pulled him out of that to give him the opportunity.
yeah. It took the beating of his life to do it, but he helped them though. Yeah.
But you can see that there's a certain level of respect between the
Oh
two.
yeah, they went three fights together. Yeah.
3 fights together, and even Josh and Fury said it himself. Like outside of myself, the best guy would be him. I just give him the title. Like here you go. Like
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. So hopefully he wins the next fight and we get to see him on a main event level again, Wilder. So it's fun to
100%.
watch.
100%. Hey, last week we started a segment called This Week or This Day in Boxing History. So what's the date today? It is
August
August.
18th, 2022. So this happened August 18th, 1958, 64 years ago. On this day, Floyd Patterson beat Roy Harris to win the belt in the 13th round in Wrigley Field. However, the reason why I bring this up, when I say Wrigley Field, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The Chicago Cubs.
Exactly. This happened in the Wrigley Field in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Yeah, 21,000 people, $10, $30 a ticket, $2 for parking. The gate was $200,000. Floyd Patterson made $100,000. Roy Harrison, sorry, Floyd Patterson made $200,000. Roy Harrison made $100,000. That's a lot of money in 1958.
well, let's think about it. The gate was $200,000, right?
That's right.
So basically, he basically won the gate. Where did he get the other 100,000? Because there was no pay-per-views and shit then.
I don't know. I guess off the beer sales, parking.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was checking up on that, Wrigley Field, I didn't even know that there's one in Los Angeles just called Wrigley Field. That
Interesting.
was the
So
last
Wrigley,
heavyweight. That was the last heavyweight title fight in Los Angeles until 2003, until Lennox Lewis fought Vitaly Klitschko, Vladimir's older brother. That was the first heavy. So they went like 45 years without a title fight, heavyweight in Los Angeles.
that's crazy, man. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what Wrigley Field is now, or is it gone?
It's gone.
It's gone, eh?
Yeah,
What replaced it? If
I'm not sure
anything.
what replaced it. I'm whether they tore it down or what they did, but yeah, 21,000 people, Wrigley Field, Los Angeles, California.
1958, eh?
64 years ago today. Nobody would have thought that from 1958 until 2003, you wouldn't see one heavyweight title fight in Los Angeles until the Klitschko fought Lennox Lewis. That 45-year layoff, a long time.
That is a long way off. That's wow, man. You just dropped some knowledge, brother.
Yeah, so that's 64 years ago today. Floyd Patterson beat Roy Harris, round 13, heavyweight title.
Nice, man. Very nice. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, we killed it. It was a good one.
We kind of covered everything that we needed to cover here, guys. We're just getting started with the end of summer of boxing. I think boxing took a day off, a little vacation, the same time
A
we
little
did,
bit.
and because I think everything was solid from January to probably mid-April, and then from mid-April till now, here we go, man.
It's
I
picking
think
up again, man.
Garcia. So yeah, we got the ladies coming out in September. That's going to be a crazy card as well.
We
Of
got
course,
Triple G. We
we
got
got
Eubank
Triple
and
G and
Connor Ben.
Canelo. That is going to be an interesting fight. I cannot wait to talk about that. I mean, what are the
Lomachenko's
chances?
fighting in October.
Lomo's coming back as well. So I mean, one of the
He's heating up.
Charlo's fighting. He's defending his all four titles against the Australian Tim Zhu.
I think we got Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz too, somewhere.
We got that in there somewhere as well, tucked in until one of them decides to pull out. What else do we got? The Charlo fight I already talked about, and I
maybe
guess
Spence and Crawford, possibly. We
maybe
don't
Spencer
know.
Crawford. I think everyone's just waiting for that one to drop. I don't know what the issues are. I think Bud is kind of, really he's not connected to any network, so I mean, I don't see what the delay is here.
It's all about the money.
Money, man. And like we talked about, Deontay's coming back as well. So I mean, you know what, man? This the end of summer, fall, and winter are looking really hot, man.
Gonna be
So
loaded. I can't wait.
yeah, no, definitely, man. All right, Chance, thank you, brother. Thank
Good
you.
one. Thank you.
And we will talk soon. I'm Bobby Sampson.
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those who download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
Yes, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey of awesomeness as we continue. We'll be back, man. We'll be back next week. If not over the weekend, you might hear from us to talk about this fight. Let's see how it plays out, and we'll go from there. But until then, guys, enjoy the weather, enjoy the weekend. It's coming upon us very fast. One day from Friday. Sit back, relax, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the fights. UFC 278 this weekend too. Usman and
278.
Usman and
Edwards.
Part 2, man. This guy's running laps in the whole division. I think we should talk a little about UFC too soon, man.
Yeah, we can drop in some of those a little bit at the end of the boxing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we should. UFC, like you said, I mean, they are putting on the better fights. Every card is pretty much good. I would love to talk about UFC. Something to think about, eh? Guys,
Yeah,
let us
sure.
know what you think. Do you want to hear us talk about the UFC a little bit and cover that a bit more? I mean, we do watch it quite a bit ourselves. We just don't talk about it as much as everything else. But if you guys want to hear about it, let us know. On that note, Bobby Sampson, Chance Michaels, everyone, in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp and Chance. Adios, muchachos. Have a good weekend.